Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
Wait. You have your 10%. Your 10 minutes. I was saying 10%.
Well, first and foremost, there is no denying the fact that Galamsey, and it's a very dangerous thing that has ever happened and continue to happen to us as a people. And I'm on record to have said, for me, it's even worse than terrorism. It is worse than terrorism because terrorists use bombs to kill people. But Galamsey kills people slowly. It devastates your environment. It denies you of your livelihood. And at the end of the day, it afflicts certain sicknesses and illnesses on the people that we find it extremely difficult to manage. Like my brother said, the kidney problems we have today, the fact that children are born, deformed, and this, by science aspects in the medical sector, can attribute that to the Galamsey. Look, I lost confidence in Odami not today. Myself and he were in Legon together. You can describe him as a friend. But I wasn't surprised that he was appointed first and foremost to do the bidding of this president. He was not appointed to do the bidding of the government or the NPP as a political party, but ostensibly to do the bidding of President Nana Addo and his family. Sena, this government has no shame looting the state, regardless what the loot would occasion to the people of this country or the environment. Long before Professor Frimpong Boateng made this statement, we knew that there were people in government who were engaged in Galamsey. And don't take my word. The former Minister for Local Government, my big sister Ajia Alima, when she met the MMDCs on national television, her statement was, among others, we know those of you who are engaged in Galamsey and will soon expose you people. She didn't say that we have information that some of you are engaged in Galamsey, that we know those of you. Ajia Alima could not have made that statement if she didn't know what she was talking about. She's a lawyer, a very honest person. And there's no way Ajia Alima could not have laid that information to the president. This was a cabinet minister at a time when we had this challenge that was confronting all of us. So President Nana Addo is aware of people closer to him and their engagement in Galamsey. The list said about the explanation of my senior comrade Kweku Bakwe and why he called Frimpong Boateng and Gabi Ochebdaku, the better. You see, I'm told there is a young man in the MPP that someone asks that the way you are following Dr. Bawumia, in the event of MPP winning elections, which ministry do you want? And the young man said, I want to be GOD. The which minister said, no, I don't want ministry, I want to be GOD. And they asked him, what is GOD? And said, Gabi Ochebdaku. Because he's so powerful that he even accompanied the president in attending meetings, serious discussions on issues that border on the state. One person whose name is not mentioned much is Bomti, another brother of the president. So, are you surprised that Gofedami is giving us this bullshit? Absolute bullshit.
No, but that's not
absolute. How do you describe this? That they can only prosecute those individuals. Perhaps they don't have tremendous protection like the other people. If you have a minister of state who says that MMDCs are engaged in Galamsey, a minister under whose ministry those MMDCs operate and function, and you think that the president was unaware, you think that the National Security Advisor, Coordinator and the Minister for Interior are unaware of those who are engaged in it within the around the presidency? You think they don't know? And you think that Professor Frimpong would just make that statement without any evidence? And the question that is still nagging, when he accused certain individuals, they publicly with the Jamboree announced that they were going to sue him. Why haven't they sued him? Why haven't they done that? So you see, Tangnache Baba on Orum Nachimba. The chief comes home with weird haircut. What do you expect his subjects to do? Because the corruption, the thievery in this country begins within the four walls of the presidency, the Flagstaff House, which unfortunately have been described as Jubilee House. That is where all the booty, the robbery goes in. Look, Sena, go to Laboni. Every single state land in Laboni has been sold by the Ministry of Lands. And I am using this medium to call on the special prosecutor to investigate the sales of land at Laboni and cantonments. How much did they sell the land? How much came to the state? And how much were those lands sold to private individuals? And the class difference. Because if you sell a land, let's say $35,000, and then end up selling that land to someone $500,000, isn't it thievery? For example. So I am calling on the OSP to investigate the sale of state lands around cantonments, around Laboni. How much did they sell the land? Those who bought the land and paid to the state, why did they immediately sell those lands? Who did they sell the land to, and how much did they sell the land to those people? The ministry says they planted 5 million trees, and each tree comes with a market value. 5 million trees, and each tree came with a value, has a price tag. How do we establish whether 5 million trees were indeed planted? How? So I'm saying that this, for me, frankly speaking, many people's livelihood have been affected because of this galamsey. This crass and worrying example given about some of the deformities in children who are being born, and also serious illnesses. Kidney is a very dangerous illness that at the time when dialysis, the money people pay for weekly dialysis have been quadrupled virtually. Where they were paying 300 and something, now is almost 800 Ghana cedis, more than 100% increase. How do we cope with some of these things? You live in a country where you had a Chinese woman, Aisha Wang, who engaged in galamsey. She was being prosecuted, and she was allowed to go in the name of aid or loans we are expecting from China. Yet the Ghanaian accomplices who were arrested alongside Aisha Wang, where the prosecution continued. Yet Aisha Wang was allowed to go by the state. The Ghana Bar Association were quiet. What would have been the position if this thing had happened under NDC? They were quiet when the entire judiciary was under attack, because that's an attack on the judiciary. Took the person out, and the senior minister went to America, and they asked him, and they said they were expecting some 3 billion loan from China, and they didn't want to jeopardize that loan. That was the reason why they had to allow the woman to go. What did the Ghana Bar Association say? When we call them a serious group of individuals, they get angry. Okay. This is just the beginning. I'm saying that, look, I'm not surprised about this. And frankly speaking, even if they were mentioned, and I agree with Dr. Percy, to what end? What will happen? So until such a time that some of us would begin re-echoing the accusations and allegations made by Professor Frimpong Boateng on certain individuals, and now those individuals are now saying, what business has a media person got to be calling ministers? What's the name? Chairman of interministerial or committees. A general, a media, what business do you have to be calling to talk about what? When the minister accuse you He didn't say he called you for you to arrange a party or a dinner with him.
Correct. Thank you. Thank you. This one is also from this is a text message. This is from Treasure. Solomon, today you have made my day. Continue to talk about the ills in the MPP party because they are becoming uncontrollable. This is Treasure who sent that. Says Nanando is a troublemaker. He doesn't know what to say without a written report. It is high time our MP stop him from speaking about critical foreign matters like this because for him, he doesn't care about anything. This one says, please, the bombing of Nkrumah was at Kolongogo and the planting of the bomb in a flower bouquet involving a little girl in Accra. He died some few years ago at Dansuman. Okay, and this is another one. This one says Ghana stage at this moment after 79 is that when you still okay. Thank you very much for sending in that message.
PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.